everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, and Patreon, and contact Dayspring Discussions on the Facebook group, Twitter account, and dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Well, happy Tuesday, everyone. It is a sunny and beautiful Tuesday here in Austin, Texas, and it's Superman week, guys. That's right. Tomorrow, I am heading to the comic book store first thing because Action Comics number 1000 comes out. That's right. It commemorates the 80th anniversary of the Man of Steel, Superman, the first superhero, still the greatest in my opinion. I'm going to get into more of that in just a little bit. I got a couple of stories I want to talk about real quick. So let's start off with the league, guys. Friday morning, we all woke up to a little bit of treat as Disney and Pixar gave us a new trailer for The Incredibles 2. The film is set to come out June 15th and directed by Brad Bird, who directed the first film and also voices one of our fan favorite characters, Edna Mode. Now, this film looks like it takes place immediately after the events of the first Incredibles movie that came out back in 2004. And in this one, it looks like someone's trying to get the supers back into the spotlight, and they think the best superhero to do that is Elastigirl. So Bob has to stay home, play Mr. Mom, so to speak, take care of the kids, take care of Jack Jack, whose powers are blossoming, and he's trying to deal with that. But in this trailer, we got a little bit more of that story as far as how it's going to go down. And I got to say, I'm totally excited for this. Just to run down a couple of the highlights for me for this trailer, the number one thing that I came away with was still the family dynamic. People say this is the best Fantastic Four film that we've gotten so far, and I agree with it because Fantastic Four is all about a family of superheroes, and that's kind of what we got with The Incredibles. You got this first scene here where Dash is commenting on just the vegetables and how he's not really a fan of it. And another thing that stayed out for me, I think, in this trailer too, it's action-packed, got a lot of action, which I think is going to be good. We got our first look at the villain as well. Looks like some kind of hypnotizing type of villain in there. I don't know. But also, Violet's superpowers. That was kind of something where she's looks like she's evolved in how she's using them. Throwing force fields. I don't know if it's her making these rips in time where she's running through a Jack Jack. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like she's grown her powers in what she can do. At least I think it's her that's doing them. In any event, though, highly entertained by this trailer. I remember seeing the first Incredibles film in theaters. Really the only reason I wanted to see it because it had the Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith trailer attached to it. And I got my whole group of friends from my college dorm to go see it with me. And as soon as the trailer was done, I was like, okay, whatever, stay for the movie. And we were all blown away by the first Incredibles film. I would like this one to have taken place years later. See Violet in college, Jack Jack's a little boy, Dash is a teenager, but they're doing something different. They're picking up right where they left off. Brad Bird said he's been waiting for the right opportunity to get the right story to make this movie. 14 years in the making. It looks great. And I guess I can't complain too much. Suffice to say, since the first Incredibles film, we've had 3 Cars movies and 2 Planes movies. Why Incredibles 2 wasn't even more fast-tracked, I don't know. It's a perfect franchise film. Also back in the day, 2004, was right at the beginning of kind of the superhero era where you had X-Men and Spider-Man come out in like 2000 and 2002. And it wasn't until about, of course, 2008 when Iron Man and Dark Knight came out that we started this new era of superhero and comic book films as far as what they can do and what kind of stories they can tell. I think The Incredibles predates that as far as it's a story about a middle-aged guy trying to relive his glory days, trying to move on with his future, with his family. A story that is very deep when you think about it and not really meant for kids. That's the thing about the Pixar films. When you sit and think about them, they're really not kid movies. They're family movies that are, I think, kid-friendly, perhaps. Even if you look at a film like an old man trying to live out a lifelong dream after his wife passes away, that's not kid stuff. with this, from what we see of this, I think it's going to be a little bit of like, again, that Mr. Mom staying at home with the kids, seeing your wife succeed and thinking maybe that was supposed to be your role. And maybe on the flip side of that, we have Elastigirl or Helen feeling guilty about being away from her family. And like this in the trailer, to uphold the law, she has to break the law. It's all a lot of stuff going on. I'm excited for it. Brad Bird did not disappoint with the first Incredibles movie. I don't think he's going to disappoint with this one either. I was going through the cast list and I saw, let's see, of course, Craig T. Nelson is back. And then, of course, all the original voice cast is back too. Sophia Bush from One Tree Hill fame is doing the voice of Void. I don't know if that's the villain or who, but it was interesting to see her name thrown in there just because I'm a One Tree Hill fan. But in any event, this film looks awesome. I can't wait to see it, and I'm super excited. Definitely going to take my daughter because she's gotten into The Incredibles too. I mean, let me take that back. She has gotten into The Incredibles as well. There we go. And I want to take her to see it. Maybe not the first round. I think maybe just me and Lisa will go the first time. But then for our second viewing, then I'll take my daughter. And I think she'll enjoy it perhaps as well because she likes the first Incredibles film. Okay, guys. Next up, it was announced this morning that Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn film, which originally was supposed to be a Gotham City Sirens film, now it looks like they might be turning into a Birds of Prey film. In any event, they found a director. Deadline reports that Kathy Yan is set to direct the film. Now, once again, we don't know if it's going to be Gotham City Sirens or Birds of Prey, but we do know that Margot Robbie is going to be kind of the lead in it as Harley Quinn. Also, I believe she's producing the film too, so we have that to go on. Now, Yan's directing credits, really, I looked them up on IMDb, and there's only one film. It's called Dead Pigs. That's came out back in January. And the only actress I recognize in it is Zazie Beetz. The premise of that film was bumbling pig farmer, a feisty saloon owner, a sensitive busboy, an expat architect, and a disenchanted rich girl converge and collide as thousands of dead pigs float down the river towards a rapidly modernizing Shanghai. Well, okay. She's done a couple of other short films as well, but whatever. So, originally, David Ayer, who directed Suicide Squad, was going to be directing the Gotham City Sirens film. He allegedly jumped off of that. I know they've been thinking about a director ever since. Looks like this young woman is jumping on now with relatively no experience. But of course, like I said, Margot Robbie is really spearheading this to try to get this film made. I liked Margot Robbie. I think Margot Robbie as an actor is phenomenal. Phenomenal actress. I like what she did with Harley Quinn in Suicide Squad. I didn't like Suicide Squad, though, itself. Now, this little rumor we're hearing, that the Gotham City Sirens film is going to turn into a Birds of Prey film, I'm actually all on board for that. Now, for those who are familiar, Birds of Prey is a crime-fighting team that consists of Batgirl, Black Canary, and Huntress. If you know Batman, or if you've even watched the show Arrow, you know how all three of them are. Then you have the main Batman female villains, such as Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, set to play a role in there too. I think Birds of Prey would be a better way to go. Now, having them fight, say, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, great. Catwoman, I might leave out actually. Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn are more of a duo. Throwing Catwoman in the mix, I don't think really works very well. My only thing about this is, if it's a Birds of Prey film, I'd much rather see a Batgirl film before a Birds of Prey. That could be like the sequel. Much how like with you have your Deadpool, now Deadpool 2 seems to be setting up X-Force. Kind of we could do that. We could have Batgirl, and maybe the tail end of the first Batgirl film, you could set up a Birds of Prey for the next one. That's what I think they should do it. Of course, focus more on the heroes, not the villains, because that's kind of the disappointing thing about Suicide Squad was Warner Brothers was all like, oh, these are the bad guys, these are the guys you hate. And I'm like, no, I can see almost every one of their point of view. They're all just misguided. They're these aren't bad guys, okay? So don't try to sell us on the bad guys. In any event, now I know the Batgirl movie actually is making some headway as well. We had Joss Whedon lead the project a month or two ago. Looks like they picked up another writer-director trying to get this thing pushed through when we don't even have a Batman film yet. Matt Reeves' Batman I don't know where that film is. Nobody knows exactly when we're going to get that one, but they're still trying to push a Batgirl film through, which I like. If you look at the new Batgirl with Rebirth, I think you could definitely take a Batgirl in the feel of a Kick-Ass film. You could take this girl who idolizes Batman and likes what he does, and then goes on her own to be her own superhero, much like how Dave does in Kick-Ass, and give it kind of that vibe. I could definitely see something like that. You know, she's inexperienced, she's learning along the way. By the end of the film, she finds these other Supergirls, such as Huntress and Black Canary, who might have been doing this for a while, and she teams up with them, much how, like, Kick-Ass teams up with Hit Girl and Big Daddy, who are actually professionals. This is just me spitballing here, but in any event, if this film does turn into a Birds of Prey, that's awesome. I'm good for that. This director, though, Kathy Young, I don't know her. Now, it's said that she's going to be another female director for Warner Brothers, which is a good thing. She's also Asian, which, of course, diversity, great. I'm all about that. My only concern is her inexperience. Now, we've learned from other superhero films, inexperience can be a good thing, such as James Gunn. He only didn't really slither before he did Guardians of the Galaxy. And that was great. Kevin Feige, his most known quote, the quote that I like to say the most is, "A good storyteller is a good storyteller despite what budget he's working with." I haven't seen this Dead Pigs film, so I can't say anything about it. It does get me a little worried, though, especially given some of the other decisions that Warner Brothers made in regards to their DC Cinematic Universe. It does get me a little worried. However, I am excited for Birds of Prey. I just think we need to get a Batgirl film in there first. And that's all I got to say about that, guys. Okay, but now on to the main event, guys. Tomorrow, Wednesday, April 18th, 2018, Action Comics number 1000 arrives. I have a whole day planned. Me and my buddy Josh, we're going to head over to the comic store first thing, pick up our copy of Action Comics 1000. Then we're going to come back to my place, probably eat some pizza, and watch Superman movies all day. Definitely going to watch original Christopher Reeves film. Probably going to watch one of the animated movies. And then beyond that, I don't know. But we're going to watch, 2 or 3 things of Superman. And then we're drinking green kryptonite alcohol, which is something usually I drink on St. Patty's Day. I didn't drink it this St. Patrick's Day because I knew I was going to drink it for tomorrow. So it's green, it's strong, and we're going to sit around and watch Superman movies and get drunk, which I'm totally excited for. 80th anniversary of Superman, but also the 40th anniversary of the original Christopher Reeves films. And to me, it signifies a big thing when it comes to the comic book and superhero genre altogether. First off, you have Action Comics number 1000. Superman made his appearance in Action Comics number 1 back in 1938. He was the first superhero, okay? Without him, you wouldn't have gotten Batman, Wonder Woman. You wouldn't have gotten the DC Universe. You wouldn't have gotten the Marvel Universe. On top of that, with Captain America, Iron Man, X-Men, Spider-Man, all those guys. This is the granddaddy of all superheroes, okay? And the first comic book ever to reach 1,000 issues. Now, granted, DC has been cheating a little bit with bi-weekly issues to get there a little quicker, to do this whole promotional campaign. Whatever, 1,000 issues is an achievement. It's an achievement in comic books and the superhero genre. This character, lasting so many years, still so close to everyone's heart, and what it means to pop culture, what he means to pop culture, and what he means to me, I'm going to talk about in just a second. And then going to the flip side of it, like I said, it's the 40th anniversary of the Christopher Reeves film, directed by Richard Donner. That film, you can say, is the granddaddy of superhero films. With that and Tim Burton's Batman film, those were the movies that showed people that superhero movies can be taken seriously if done right. You don't have to treat them like, oh, it's a superhero movie. No, they are characters just like any other movie, and they can be crafted to be great. That's one of the reasons, of course, I want to watch that film on top of all others tomorrow to celebrate the character. I always say there are 3 things that if you get me talking about, I will geek out and not stop. One of them is X-Men. The other is Star Wars, and the third thing is Superman. I've been a Superman fan ever since I was a little kid, and I remember my dad took me and my brother to the comic book shop every Saturday morning, and I'll never forget the morning we walked in to get Superman issue number 75, The Death of Superman. My dad said we immediately had to pick it up, we immediately had to get it, and I've been reading Superman comics ever since, okay? I was there for the reign of the Superman, the death of Clark Kent, the fall of Metropolis, the red and blue Superman. God, let's forget about that. You got the new Krypton storyline. You got New 52. You got Rebirth. I've been reading Superman for a long time. I love the character. I love what he represents. And that is the best of all of us. That's why he was sent here. Jor-El sent his son to Earth to show us what we could be, to be that beacon of hope that we all aspire to be, despite the fact that some people in the comic book and Hollywood industry have tried to drag him through the dirt several times. He doesn't need to be down here. He needs to be up above us, something for us to strive towards. If you've been following the Facebook group polls that I've been doing all week long, today's I did the best origin story. Still trying to decide between Secret Origin and Superman for All Season for myself. Both great stories. But yesterday I did the best love interest for Superman. Is it Wonder Woman or Lois Lane? And Josh and I were talking about it. And there can be arguments made for both. He says Wonder Woman because of their powers. Because she can relate to him on a level of loneliness of what it's like to have these powers and how it makes you feel. Also, Lois Lane, I think, really, it embodies to me the best or what he needs, because she is the pinnacle of the best of humanity as well. The fact that she's a strong, independent female who always tries to do the right thing. And it's Clark's relationships, or Kal-El's relationships, that help turn him into Superman. You've had other alternate versions of Superman, like Red Son, where he landed someplace else besides Kansas, where he was raised by someone else besides the Kents, and he's different. In other renditions, such as Injustice or Kingdom Come, he loses Lois Lane, and he loses that connection to humanity. There was a Superman-Batman comic many years ago, I forget what it was, but Superman is talking to Lois on a rooftop, and he's telling her, you are the reason that I don't lose it. You are my connection to humanity. You're what keeps me humble. You're the reason I am Superman. And I totally agree with that. It's his relationships with Lois, his parents, Jimmy, Pete, Lana, the people he's grown up with, the people he's cared about, that keeps him to be Superman and not just become some great dictator with a bunch of powers. And he toes that line, he knows he can solve almost any world problem, but he doesn't. He doesn't want to solve our problems for us. He wants us to step up to solve our own problems. The character's great. He does the right thing. There's a great issue, I think it's number 2 of the Superman Rebirth issue, where he's talking to his son, and he's talking about being Superman, or putting on the S, wearing the shield, means doing the right thing even when nobody else is looking. And I totally agree with that. So like I said, tomorrow is a big day in comic books, in superheroes, in pop culture, and in movies, all rolled into one because of this character and celebrating what he has done, what he has meant. One of my favorite writers, Brian Michael Bendis, who I got to meet last month at DC South by Southwest. He loved my X-Men shirt. Thanks, Brian. I invited him on Twitter because he said to send him an invite for my Superman party. He hasn't replied. I don't expect him to. That's okay, Brian. I'll give you a pass. I'm sure you got plans for the day already, but super cool. Great writer. He brought the Avengers back from the dead. He did a great run on X-Men. He did some Spider-Man. Just a wonder with Marvel. Now he's flipping over to DC. Hopefully he can take and build on what Superman has already become, because I've been enjoying Rebirth Superman, especially since now we've got John Kent as Superboy. I love him interacting with Damian Wayne in Super Sons, And I love the family dynamic of it all as well, given the fact that I am a father myself, growing up with Superman. I've got a family, he's got a family, I can relate to it. Part of the reason also why I like the Spider-Man comic Renew Your Vows, because again, Spider-Man grows up, has his little family, and that's what that comic deals with. So as someone growing up with comic books who now has his own family, I love reading those characters growing up as well. So, all right, guys, well, that is going to be it for me today. First up, let me know what your plans are. Are you picking up Action Comics 1000? Any other plans, let me know about, and we can all celebrate together. Incredibles 2, how excited for it are you? Are you as excited as me? Let me know what your favorite character is. Frozone, Jack, Dash. Hit me up on the Facebook group or on dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. Let me know. And then finally, of course, the TCEU gets another director. Is it Birds of Prey? Is it Gotham City Sirens? Who knows? Are you excited for it? Are you weary? Hit me up. Let me know, guys. That's going to be it for me today. I should get another show out on Thursday. Possibly. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But fire back. Let me know what you think about the topics we talked about. And I will see you next time, guys. Until then, may the Force be with us all.